What is up, my gooners and doomers? I got another video for you today. This time, shoe on head, the male loneliness epidemic. I've actually talked with several people who have experience with dating problems and whatnot, so I am interested to see what her take on this actually is. I don't want to waste your time, so let's just get into it. Like, comment, share, subscribe, Linktree somewhere around here. Click that for all my other socials and to support me or whatever else, blah, blah, blah. Let's get into it.
I regret to inform you, the men are not okay. That's right, folks, the men are not okay. The men have no friends, no girlfriend, no college education, no money, are breaking their legs and inserting metal rods into their bones to be a few inches taller, and listening to AI Batman help them overcome their pornography addictions.
You deserve real love.
Turns out the society that was built by and
I'm sorry, that last one was actually funny. But yeah, no friends, no girlfriends, no job, no money. Sounds like an average week for me.
and allegedly 4 men has indeed let them down. Now you might be thinking, oh look, another boo-hoo poor men video by Shoe on Head. Yeah.
Uh-oh, Shoe, you're not supposed to do that. You're worrying about men. That's a no-no.
Yes. And if you have a problem with that, tune into literally anything else.
Okay, well, she makes a fair argument. I guess this is the end of the video. I'll see you guys next week when I'm kidding.
Men are in a crisis, and it seems nobody really
Ew,
cares.
is that Monster?
And the people who do care just seem like the people who want to sell them shit. Not me. I'm different. So before we get into this, let's quickly get into today's sponsor. Today's sponsor is Holzkern. Holzkern is a young Austrian company that designs unique
We're not skipping the ad.
watches and
We're taking her
jewelry made
content.
from
We can be
all
nice enough to
natural
at least let her get her
materials.
bag.
Their high-quality timepieces come in various designs for both men and women, making them the perfect gift for any occasion. They're a great blend of function and fashion, and overall I just think they look very classy, especially the men's watch collection. I was pretty impressed with the silver casing and blue marble dial of the Naturalist watch, which made for a great gift for my boyfriend. He especially loved the casual yet stylish appearance, making it an ideal choice to wear both at work and at home. I'm also really happy with the watch I picked out. It's made from black and white marble and features a nice black leather bracelet that just feels so comfy. They also create elegantly crafted earrings, very unique handbags, sunglasses, and necklaces, like this rose marble elevation necklace. It makes a really memorable and unique gift for a loved one. All of their products have a 24-month warranty, and ordering online is super easy with free shipping to the US and most EU countries within 2 to 5 days. So if you want to get yourself a good quality watch and support the channel, I highly recommend checking out their store and clicking the link in the description below. Use my special code SHOE15 at checkout that will give you 15% off for all products store-wide. So go to the link down below and choose your own unique piece of nature. Thank you, Holzkern, for sponsoring this video, and thank you, the viewer, as always, for not skipping the ad.
Why are men and boys struggling? And what should we do about it?
A few new studies have come out
Throw him off a cliff. End the suffering.
that have shown that young men are more lonely and single than ever before. But it's not just men. The women and children, too. It's predicted 45% of women will be single and childless by 2030. But according to the media, this is a good thing. The she-economy is booming, as they say. And meanwhile, men being single is treated like this.
New study explains why some single men are having a hard time finding a new partner.
Some of the music that they listen to speaks very derogatory.
Right.
Yeah, men, stop
Kill me, bro. Kill me, kill me, kill me, kill me, kill me.
listening to that derogatory music. Then maybe you won't be single. I don't know, I think men and women being single and lonely kind of shows there might be something wrong
with society. Yeah.
Perhaps we should address this, not just wave it off as empowering or pathetic. According to several different articles, I love how that's my source, I read about it on the internet, research shows that people from individualist countries show a greater sense of loneliness. This is linked to socioeconomic development, increased education, a shift towards white-collar jobs, and urbanization. Japan also has an issue with loneliness. In fact, they have a whole movement of people they call the hikikomori. Did I say that right?
Yeah, close enough.
I don't care. Basically, postmodern hermits. Mostly young men who completely withdraw from society, secluding themselves in their rooms for months and years at a time. In
2010, kind of cold out right now.
2010, there was an estimated 700,000 hikikomori in Japan. And today, it's estimated to be about 1.55 million. And because of things like this, people aren't having babies, so Japan's population has been in a sharp decline since 2011. It's gotten so bad that Japan even produces videos of live-action women staring into the camera to help the hikikomori learn to cope with eye contact.
I'm not even gonna lie. That isn't helping me with that makes me feel so uncomfortable. It's not even, I don't even have a problem with eye contact. Just the idea of me staring into a video, look at her eyes. I feel like they're soulless. God, let's get this off screen. Jesus Christ. I don't even have a problem with eye contact, and that's just making me feel uncomfortable.
And reintegrate them back into society. So basically, if you want to know America's future, look no further than Japan. A lot of people, including myself, blame this partially on the rise of social media and technology.
True.
RIP to the king. Although technology...
This actually isn't even theorized anymore. I think this video is like a year old now, but there was a report that came out from schools in the past year or so that have actually banned cell phones, for instance, in school. Not just in the classroom, not just like keep it on you and, you know, don't use it or whatever. Like outright banned. Like you're straight up not allowed to bring it into school. I don't know if they confiscate it at the start or if the parents are literally supposed to keep it at home. I don't remember. But when you're at school, you literally don't have it on you at all. Not even in your backpack. Nothing. And at first, obviously, the students hated this. But after a few months of this, the students themselves noticed a massive change. Massive change. They were interacting a lot more. They were socializing a lot more. Lunchtime went from completely silent to being bustling with noise again because everyone was talking and interacting and talking about their favorite, you know, whatever the hell again. And at the end of the day, yeah, like when you're, like for instance, going to the mall used to be the big hangout spot. It used to be like the place in town if you had one to hang out. And ever since like, I don't know, Amazon, I guess, for instance, came out, now you just tap a few buttons and you're done. You just, like, why would I go to the mall? Why would I socialize? Why would I meet people? Why would I do any of those things when I can just, you know, click 3 buttons and then have every single thing I desired delivered straight to my door? Like, there's no reason. So the rise in technology is 100% a major league factor in the lack of socialization, and it doesn't help that digital interaction is terrible. A lot of the time you don't know what people look like. Yes, I'm a VTuber. I recognize the irony. Don't bother pointing it out. I get it. So anyways, you don't know how people look. You don't know how people act behind the camera. Again, irony, I know. But the number of women, for instance, I have seen openly brag about catfishing men on Discord is insane. So people are either just hesitant to get into relationships at all in the first place, or they're just online placeholders that aren't real relationships at all, because the other one of them, if not both, will separate before they ever even meet each other in real life, because they're really just using each other as like a makeshift AI chatbot, if you will. And then dating apps are a whole nother thing I could get into. Like the list just goes on and on and on. Like online social interactions right now are majority as including online dating. And you can't get real life stuff because, well, everything I just covered. Why would you when you have so much convenient technology at your fingertips? So yeah, 100%. It is a massive problem with technology and online socializing culture.
makes things easier, it can also make us more atomized. Why go to the mall when I can just tap, buy a new microphone and have it shipped to me in a day? Why hang out with friends when I can get all my social interaction I need from Twitter and streamers? Why go on dates and bother meeting women when I can just tap, Google big boob and get 2 million results? Or see my high school crush's holes on OnlyFans for only $5.
I mean, to be fair, I don't like that they blame porn. The porn's not the problem. Porn has always existed. Before it was on the internet, it was, you know, $20 magazines of Playboy or whatever. Porn has always been around. In the past, it didn't stop men from seeking out real, you know, physical intimacy, shall I put it. The porn is not really the factor at all. It really is just the technology. This other stuff has always been around. It's never really hampered people who want to get into a relationship. It's just, I mean, we already covered it. It's the convenience. It is the absolute convenience combined with the disingenuousness of online interactions that is just driving people. And then there's a whole nother potential argument you could have with certain people's egos and standards, but yeah, that's what it really is.
Instant dopamine, instant satisfaction, and hey, who even needs a real woman when you could just have an AI girlfriend? We're so f***ed. Dating apps really are.
Not gonna lie, chat, I would not date one of these so-called AIs, but if they ever get to the point to where they're like good enough to be genuinely like individual learning machines, like say Cortana, chat, be honest. Be honest. Are you honestly gonna look me in the eye and tell me you wouldn't date Edie from Mass Effect? Especially after she got that body? What about Cortana? Let's be honest.
The great Satan, and I'm convinced they've completely broken men's brains. Women on dating apps are picky. Women
Our brains
in
have always
general
been
are
broken, to be
picky,
fair.
and I mean, naturally we are pickier. You know, we're the ones who carry the babies. At least for now. But on dating apps, you have to admit, it's a little insane. It's safe to say that the commodification...
Whoa, hold on, what was that?
For now. But on dating apps, you have to admit, it's...
What is that? How men rate women. Least attractive, most attractive. Okay, that's a pretty even split. And then how women rate men. Jesus Christ! 0% most attractive, 27% least attractive, 31% just above that. I don't want to sound like a misogynist, but I think that women have a problem. Jeez.
It's a little insane. It's safe to say that the commodification of love and the window shopping of dating apps probably has to do a lot with the rise of lonely single men. Men are not just lonely when it comes to dating, they're lonely when it comes to friendship too. According to Vox, Americans are currently in a friendship recession, and men are being hit the hardest. The percentage of men who reported having at least 6 close friendships fell in half since the 90s. 1 in 5 men say they have no close friendships. Looking at...
Damn, that's depressing. I know I have at least one close friend, to be fair. I have about 3 people that I interact with on a regular-ish basis that is not family, to be clear. Or online. Or sorry, on social media, I should say. Yeah, that's about it. I'm a statistic, chat. Help!
All these statistics, the explosion of figures like Andrew Tate is not surprising at all.
I believe
No,
being a man is
100%.
a blessing because it starts so different. I believe that every man is born without any value at all. I think that the world's never going to think you're important unless you make yourself important.
And recently, a new study came out about how young men are moving towards the right. And every other month, we, the liberal, sockdem, leftist, whatever you want to call the space online, performs the same song and dance. What's wrong with men? Why is this happening? Why don't we have a leftist Andrew Tate? We need to push back.
Oh my god, that just reminded me. I forget what the outlet was, but one of the outlets tried to push frickin' Hassan Piker as the Joe Rogan or whatever of the left. Oh, kill me. Alright, so to be clear, how to even put this? There's a reason Andrew Tate became popular. There is. And the problem is that... Again, I'm trying to figure out how to put this. you basically have people demonizing men for simply being men. They weren't just calling toxic behaviors toxic. They were calling masculinity itself, or even what most men are just biologically wired to act like, evil or somehow bad. And so obviously when you have one side saying you're evil, you're bad, you need to be ashamed of yourself, blah, 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 blah. And then you have the other side going, hey, you will be happy, you will have a family, you know, you can get through your struggles, and I'm going to help you out, ... with this $30 scam course that I'm going to use to scam you out of all your money while actually not helping you at all. Because that's the actual thing. Andrew Tate sucks. Make no mistake, he sucks. If you think he's great, you fell for his bull. He is absolutely a grifter, a scammer, a con artist, whatever else you want to call him. He is a terrible human being overall. But he said the right things at the right time when no one else was. Name one other person in the major mainstream media who was actually combating this stuff. I can only think of two people, and they're not even in the mainstream media. You had Abba and Preach, and you had Destiny, who went on these Red Pill podcasts. I saw them myself. Go on these things and directly combat these opinions on places like Fresh and Fit, and in cases like Andrew Tate. But that's it. If you ask me, like, who else combated this, I got nothing. I don't know a single other person, especially no one in the mainstream media. So then you wonder why men went right, why men flocked to Andrew Tate. I don't know. Maybe it's because they were saying, hey, you're normal, and more than that, I'm going to show you how to be happy and accomplish your goals and all this stuff. While the other side was like, you know, quit crying about it. Not even quit crying about it. That would have been nicer. I don't really know how else to put it. They were like, not just quit crying about it. They were like, quit being evil, when the so-called evil was just being yourself, being a man in general. It was so toxic. Like, they would interpret, for instance, most men are usually dominant, for instance. And then you had women, especially on Reddit, that would twist this into being something evil, like as if you think women are inferior or something, like they've never been in a consensual BDSM relationship or whatever. And it's just so cringe. It really is. Honestly, the number one problem the left has, and I say this as someone who is on the left, I am a liberal. I'm somewhere between Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden. I'm somewhere in that spectrum. But the number one issue with the left is marketing. I swear to God, the Democrats could not market water to a man on fire, but they could easily, but the Republicans could easily market arsenic as, I don't know, freedom juice. And then half the country would be drinking arsenic by the end of the week. Like, that's really what it comes down to. Like, the Democrats just, they cannot market for
Men to the left. Andrew Tate rarely, if ever, talks about politics. Andrew Tate talks about men, and the left only talks about men when they talk about Andrew Tate. A few months ago, during one of the monthly song and dances, some progressive people I follow made the mistake of addressing men's issues, and the even bigger mistake of pointing their finger at their own spaces for not.
Hang on. The reason young men flick to alt-right MRA movements is because the left gives brain-dead advice to young men. We need to be more compassionate to them for their own sake. I mean, for our own sake. I mean, yeah, I agree with that. They're right. I completely agree with this. This is literally what I was saying before. Like, yeah, the left has a problem with being compassionate to men. This is just correct.
Doing enough to address said men's issues.
Recently, there were some statistics by healthcare company Cigna indicating that men are the loneliest generation. And addressing it doesn't mean that you turn your back on issues pertaining to women, but it does mean that we should be focused on what it is in society that is leading to this epidemic, what the left can do to offer solutions, and how we can basically fight back against the more nefarious figures who have filled the void that, you know, men are struggling with, people like Jordan Peterson and what have you. Now, recently, Vosh, who's a...
I'm sorry. I just find that so ironic that she brings up Jordan Peterson as an example, given how to put this politely, dog-walked he was in a recent Certain Jubilee video. Oh, God.
popular streamer, had tweeted this thread that I think is really, really important to address. He writes, "I cannot stress enough how important it is to understand that 12-year-old white boys on Twitch are not being pulled into fascism because of some Machiavellian desire to preserve and expand their privileges. It's because the right talks to them and the left doesn't."
The responses to these tweets and this content
Pretty fair.
were very normal, level-headed, and respectful.
Oh,
Me
no.
when I lie. LMAO, cry about it. Boo f***ing who? Oh no, poor widow men having problems. Boo f***ing who? Grow the f*** up then.
Why did you lose the election? Oh, I wonder indeed.
Have men considered
bro.
being smarter? I'm enjoying all these sad little moids and their sad little tweets about their sad, pathetic lives.
Imagine this on the other foot. Like, actually imagine this. Like, some woman comes out on social media, help, I've been abandoned by my family, no one on the left is helping me, blah, 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 or right, or whatever makes it more analogous. You know, I'm feeling sad, alone, unseen, unwanted, and then having a bunch of men come along and be like, boo who? Man up. Oh, you're sad? Too bad. Cry about it. You're right. No one wants you. Oh, how is that my problem? Just like all this shit. Imagine comments like that, but towards a woman in like similar situations. It's... Is it really that hard to just fucking care about people?
Sounds like a personal problem. Is the lack of compassion for men in the room with us right now? Maybe men are just not good people then.
Did the person who posted that literally not read the very comment section like at all? What do you do with these people?
So fucking tired of people trying to make male loneliness a huge societal problem. Yeah, no, their fifis are not my responsibility, and I shouldn't have to be punished because they can't get their shit together as humans.
Who's punishing you? How is this? What punishment are you enduring? What? Like, answer the question. I want to know, what punishment? What punishment could you possibly be alluding to? Caring about people? I'm lost. Chad, if you got any idea, put it in the comment below. I am completely lost.
Human beings, grow the f up. Why are we trying to win these entitled little predators over? The left isn't for them. That's why they go right in the first place. We're all lonely and alienated. It's young men going to the alt-right in droves. The problem isn't our messaging, it's them.
Kill me, bro.
It's literally not our problem. Men flock to Andrew Tate not because they're lonely.
It's gonna be your problem very soon if you don't get your shit together. That's the problem. Again, here's the dark little secret. When a certain sect of society, any sect, by the way, whether it's women, whether it's men, whether it's blacks, whether it's whites, any specific small minority sector, or even not even minority, just any sect period of the nation starts to feel a certain way, especially very, very negatively, they are going to eventually start acting out, most likely. Okay? If nothing else, it drives them away from your side into the enemy side, whatever that is, and then even in a democracy or whatever, if they don't get violent, they'll vote for that, and then now you got another problem, and now it's your problem, and now you got to deal with it, which is why I said it's going to be your problem pretty soon. Well, actually, no, wait a minute. Given the fact that this video came out in, like, what, a year ago, and now it's 2025, it's post-election, so, given who won, maybe it is your problem now.
But because they're bigots. Hope this helps. Nah, it's just misogynists being louder than before and not getting laid, lol.
I'm gonna have to stop pausing. I can't comment on every single one of these. I'm gonna kill myself.
Well, cry harder, losers. 90% of all homicides recorded worldwide were committed by male perpetrators. We should just get rid of all males, to be honest. This includes trans women, as they still retain male violence. By the way, you know the Tumblr feminists who were like, all men are sexist and rapists, male tears, penises are evil, blah 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 back in the day? Well, this is them now. Should've just let me cook back then. Listen up, chuckle. I'm white, socially awkward, autistic, in my 40s, ugly, overweight, crippled, got a weird balding pattern, and have bad skin. You know what I didn't do? Choose to become a fascist, because I recognize most of the sort that look like me are the problem. I may be hideously ugly and pathetic, but at least I'm not a fascist. Thank you for your input, buddy. You're, really helping the situation. The reason young men flock to alt-right MRA movements is because the left gives brain-dead advice to young men. We need to be more compassionate to them, for our own sake. I'm sorry, but how is respect women brain-dead advice?
Have you ever thought of not raping women, guys? Have you ever just... Oh, I guess that's why it happens. You know, we really just need to tell more kids in school not to rape. That'll make the problem go away, because that's definitely how that works. Bad people don't listen to good advice. How is it that hard for these people to understand that?
What advice? Don't rape? Don't be a...
Oh, they did it! They did the meme! I meant that as a joke! I'm eviscerated. I'm evaporated. Disintegrated. I'm done. Don't be a rapist is bad advice. Yes, it is! That's not how that works!
Rapist is bad advice? Help, I have no friends or community. I feel suicidal. Have you considered not raping? Act like a decent fucking human being. It's not hard. Is brain dead advice? Brain dead advice? Like
Yes, it is. Do you have any idea how generic that advice is? Let's not even get into the freaking philosophy of, you know, subjective morals and whatnot. Saying what is good or what constitutes as a good person to you or whatever is incredibly vague, even under objective moral frameworks, or are supposedly thought to be objective moral frameworks. You got to be specific. What are they doing wrong? What is the alternative? How can they fix these things? Give them an actual pathway at the very least.
Like, get consent and don't be a Nazi and women are people. Walking up to men struggling with loneliness and depression like...
Kids, don't be racist.
Incredible. Here's my actual advice I would give to my teen boys as a leftist. 1. Always get enthusiastic consent. 2. Save the planet. 3. Don't say that. It's actually kind of racist.
How is it racist? In any way, how is it racist? Save the planet is racist? Always be enthusiastic consent is racist? The thing they were replying to about helping men out is somehow racist? Bring back asylums. Please. Please, please, please bring back asylums.
Like, what the f is this? How does this address men and their issues? It doesn't. Why does their advice always seem to be, become a liberal? Hey men, here's how to fix all your problems. Agree with me politically. Men flock to the MRA movement because they're the largest beneficiaries of MRA shit. Imagine saying women flock to women's rights activism because they're the biggest beneficiaries of women's rights. Like,
Yep,
no
that's what I was about to say, but...
Let's
yeah.
be honest. Aside from procreation purposes, men have become obsolete. Most women can...
We run like over half the nation. If you took every man out of society right now, society would shut down. Every single one of the dirtiest, hardest jobs in the nation, I'm pretty sure even in the world, is overwhelmingly men. Whether it's trash collecting, whether it's sewage treatment, whether it's any form of maintenance, whether it's construction, whether it's even politics and army and enforcement for that matter. This is like so disgusting to me. It's not just that you hate men in general. It's that you hate them to the point to where you are willing to... Excuse me? I just noticed. That's a dude saying... This is a troll. It has to be a troll. It has to be a troll. That's a troll. It's a troll. I refuse to believe that's real.
Find other methods of achieving orgasm without a man there. And speaking as a man, most of us are horrid to be around, and I don't blame any woman for just saying, no thanks. Oh my god, dude, this is what every Just Pearly Things tweet looks like to me, just with the genders swapped. This is
Yes.
pathetic. You know what fixes male loneliness? Jerking off. As a man, I'll say this. Sit down, shut up.
Excuse me? Hold on. I'm sorry. What was the whole message there?
You know what fixes male loneliness?
Jerking off with the realization that slapping human... I'm sorry. That's just so funny how that's phrased. With the realization that slapping human flesh together isn't worth it. It brings disease and unwanted pregnancy. Also attaching yourself to a mother of your child for the rest of your life. I don't even know how to process that.
Loneliness? Jerking off. As a man, I'll say this. Sit down, shut up, and beat one out. You'll feel better. I promise. Yeah, guys, just...
I'm moving on.
beat one out. Just off. Just watch porn. Batman would be very disappointed in all of you. It's so funny how men feel entitled to a girlfriend. No, you sexist freak. When one side is like,
no one has said that we're entitled to girlfriends. We want girlfriends. We're not entitled to them, but we would like to have them with, like, reasonable standards. Like, that's it. There's a really big problem, especially in, like, every dating market right now, from all the data I've seen, where women have just some insane standards. That's really all it comes down to. We're not entitled to it. The problem is that the way to get it naturally has become absurd in a lot of areas. Not necessarily universally. There are still good women out there. You can still get a girlfriend. You can still apply yourself, look in certain communities, you know, join hobby groups, blah, 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 blah. It's not completely hopeless, and the people who try and say it's completely hopeless are just trying to sell you shit, honestly. But it is a problem. And yeah, I don't know, man.
wanting a girlfriend is sexist entitlement, and the other side is like, here's how to get a girlfriend. I don't know, bro. What happened to males just kicking the bucket? Now they just come on here and try to make their loneliness and misery into some social justice issue. Oh, trust me.
What happened to males just kicking the bucket? Now they just come on here and try to make their loneliness and misery into some kind of social justice issue. Flip this on its head. What happened to females just, I don't know what you want to say there, being quiet, dying in the alley, whatever you want to insert there. Now they just come on here and try to make their rape situation. What would the past tense for that be, or whatever? They're whatever. You get what I'm saying? Make them getting raped and their misery resulting from it into some kind of social issue. Like, would it murder you to just have compassion for the other side? Okay? Men understand rape bad. Yes, that's why we don't need to be told it. The people who do it anyways don't care. That's why telling them that doesn't matter. They didn't care in the first place. But you guys are coming on here not giving a fuck even about basic compassion. We're not even asking you to fix our lives or anything. We're just asking you to not be terrible. Apparently that's too much, though. Jesus.
Here and try to make their loneliness and misery into some social justice issue. Oh, trust me. Men are still kicking the bucket. And when they're not giving mind-blowing advice like just to be a liberal, they're outright dismissing men's issues completely. It's not our job to educate them. Since men created the problem, they need to take steps to fix it. We have other things to care about. Men can figure out their own problems that they created. Again, it's not women's jobs.
Again, take any woman's social issue. I keep using rape because it's like the big obvious one, like why some people use Hitler for every example. So it's like that. But take it to anything else. Take it to, I don't know, any issue facing women right now. And imagine that this is the response. And by the way, if there are men responding like this to women who have similar concerns, they are also in the wrong. Okay? Being compassionate to your fellow man or woman is not a gendered issue. It is not a zero-sum game. Everyone can be compassionate. And anyone not being, to any degree anyways, is, like these comments here, are the ones in the wrong. It's not that hard to understand.
To change how men are socialized. It's a man issue and y'all need to address that amongst yourselves. Men created their own problems. Men can solve their own problems. The left is busy. Why does the well-being of other people concern me? Leftist, by the way. It's all systemic issues and societal factors and blah 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 until it's a man and then suddenly it's Pull yourselves up by your
True.
bootstraps. This problem is just a consequence of the patriarchy. Now take a wild guess about which gender created the patriarchy. Solve your own problems and leave women alone. These people rightly mock the bootstraps rhetoric until
We do leave women alone. That's kind of why the loneliness... Wasn't there some lady on TikTok just recently or a year ago or something going like, where have all the good men gone? We took your advice. We left you alone. Make it make sense.
the subject is a man, and then it's
And by the way, that's what led to the problem. We left you alone, and now a ton of people are lonely because it turns out women don't want to reach out. Women don't want to be the ones asking you out. Women don't want to be the ones to like buy the date or give you the flowers, or I guess whatever the man version of flowers would be, like I don't know, quart of motor oil or something. But anyways, you get what I'm saying. Like, they don't want to reach out. This is not something they do. And so when we leave when women leave men alone, men still reach out. When men leave women alone, the loneliness epidemic occurs. All right. So like, this is the problem, is that society is more and more making it to where women are filling more and more masculine roles in society, but men are not being allowed to enter more feminine roles in society, like being house husbands and whatnot. And I already know what the counter that is. Oh, who's stopping you? You are. Women. Most women don't want a house husband. Most women are not okay with this. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. You know, more power to you if you can get it. But women aren't the ones reaching out. Women aren't the one looking for house husbands. Like, this is just not a thing. And so that's why the loneliness epidemic is occurring.
Straps all the way down. They would never talk about any other group this way. It's wild. And it's kind of like both sides are telling men to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, but one is like, I'll show you how, and the other is like, fuck off. And when they're not telling men to straight up fuck off, they're giving the 200 IQ answer that nobody has ever heard before. Just show your emotions, bro. And I'm not dismissing this problem, okay? I've made videos talking about this. Oh, you're crying?
Yeah, the number of times I've seen people be like, you know, just show your emotions, it's okay. And then as soon as you do, they use it against you. It's so cringe. By the way, quick note on that. Still show your emotions, okay? The people who are trying to hurt you for exposing yourself and being vulnerable are only trying to project their own misery, all right? Don't let them win, all right? Yes, they will use your emotions against you, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. The open up thing is still the right advice. It's just, there's some assholes out there that we got to push through, all right? It is what it is.
At your grandfather's funeral? Okay, faggot. And studies have shown that men are scared to be vulnerable, even around the homies. And can you blame them when the media says stupid like this?
Yep.
Fellas, is it woke to open up to your fellow men and...
UK builders go woke. Study finds 3/4 of tradesmen discuss their feelings with colleagues, while 2/3 shun the fried breakfast. 2/3 shun the fried breakfast. What the hell does that mean? And nearly half say they are history buffs. A poll of 2,000, nearly half, blah, blah, blah. Research shows... Okay. That's fine. Is it woke to show your feelings? No, it's not. Again, just show your feelings. Just ignore the people who are pricks.
discuss history. Men are socialized to believe strength, dominance, and stoicism are behaviors of a real man. Is it any surprise that men are lonely and have less friends nowadays?
What does that have to do with anything? Yes, strength, dominance, although not necessarily dominance. You don't necessarily, and also it depends on how you mean that. But stoicism is, yes, a generally good trait. Behaviors of a real man, how would that lead to loneliness? Like, men have been this way for thousands of years. This is not a modern concept. This is not modern standards. This has been in multiple societies to ancient times. And so you think that those are the issues that are causing men to be lonely? It's the technology, my guy, and to some degree, women's insane standards. Like, it's... I just don't know what to do with these people.
You have to be vulnerable to make friends. Don't tell me there aren't systemic problems affecting...
Yes, but these are not mutually exclusive. You can be stoic and vulnerable at times. What have you not seen How to Train Your Dragon, for instance? The main chieftain is literally called Stoic the Vast. His whole personality is being stoic. But you know what? He still has emotions. He still has moments of weakness. We all do. That's okay. That's normal. It's not one or the other.
Men. Now, while a lot.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Hold on. Did I just completely misunderstand this? Don't tell me there aren't systemic problems affecting men. I mean, there are. But the rest of this implies... Wait, so he's blaming it on systemic issues, and then he's saying that the systemic issues are the strength, dominance, and stoicism prevalent in society? Oh my god. Kill me, bro.
To be vulnerable to make friends. Don't tell me there aren't systemic problems affecting men. Now, while a lot of this may be true, men have been socialized this way for centuries, and this is relatively a new phenomenon. Toxic masculinity has existed forever. If anything, there's less toxic masculinity nowadays. The cultural embrace of, like, gender nonconformity, femboys, Harry Styles in a dress, Barbie movie, blah 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 blah. My point is, toxic masculinity did not just appear in the mid-2010s, but social media did, and the internet did, and the rise of dating apps did, and the housing crisis, and living in a country where the wealth inequality is worse than it was during the Gilded Age. That all happened recently. Oh my god, the privileged life these poor little boys must have, that their biggest problem is being lonely, i.e. so insufferable that nobody wants to sleep with them. So much more pressing than the poor distribution of wealth causing people to suffer food and housing and
Please look up the statistics on how many homeless people are in America, and then on how many of those people are men versus women. Oh my God. Who do you think is the benefactor of the, well, however you want to put it, the people affected by the poor distribution of wealth? Who do you think is mainly affected by that? Pot calls kettle.
Insecurity. Boo-hoo, you're lonely and have no friends and are suicidal when? Because feeling alienated under capitalism apparently isn't a thing. People are working harder and longer while wages have been stagnant, men have been dropping out of college like flies, and what does that get you? Poor men. Which, since women are doing amazing in college now, and many are now out-earning men, this most of the time leads to single men, which then leads to...
Yeah, that leads to another problem right there, actually. That was part of the social issues I'm talking about. A lot of women, if you are a man and you make less than them, now again, not all women, there are good ones out there still, just to be clear, but if you are a man and you make less money than a woman, a lot of them, again, not all, but a lot of them see it as dating down, as they put it. That's part of the social issues that are driven by women that I'm talking about, that are allowing women to step into the traditional masculine role of being the breadwinner, and then the men not being properly rewarded or properly allowed, or however you want to put it, by stepping into the traditional feminine role of being the homemaker or the house husband or whatever. Like, this is exactly what I'm talking about. That's a perfect example of it.
Lonely men, which leads to depressed men, which leads to the high suicide rate. In my opinion, leftism at a policy level does equal...
And it's not even just that you're lonely, too. It's made so much worse by this, because then if loneliness on its own is one thing. It's the fact that you're lonely, and then whenever you reach out, you're constantly slapped to the side and called evil or entitled or any number of other things, when you're not even necessarily, not to be fair, some people are, but you're not even necessarily those things. These are just people who don't even care to even attempt to understand you and are just brushing you aside because it's easier for them, and then that's it. Like, it's so disgusting.
Great job addressing the shitty material conditions that in part lead to the problems that men are facing, but then absolutely drops the ball when it comes to everything and anything related to men's cultural issues. Many such cases. And why would a struggling man even want to move left when the left appears actively hostile to them?
The question of whether or not the hashtag online left does enough to appeal to hashtag men has become the question du jour. And like, men have most of the money, authority, and do most of the murdering and assaulting.
The average young man in America isn't Jeff Bezos. Also, why did this motherfucker just FBI crime statistics at me? Men do the most murder. Okay?
Yeah, and I didn't need to address that. There's a reason that most men do murder, and the reason, or any crime at all, and it's because most men are the doers. If we were in a society that demanded these resources, and it was like an all-female society, you would see the same thing. The problem is that women don't have to do these things because the men typically do it for them. That's still the standard in society. Even though it can be shifting to some degree now, it is still the standard for the man to sacrifice himself for the woman or the family. That is still seen as the honorable thing to do. So because of this, when you have a man, when you have him, especially whether he's lonely or not, whether he's got a family to protect or he's just out of options, of course they're going to be out on the streets and doing it. Meanwhile, women have more options because all they have to do is get a boyfriend and then they're good. This is why the homelessness ratio, again, is so skewed. It's because women have more options. Women are treated differently and better, quite frankly, by both men and society at large. This is why.
They like having all of the stuff they don't deserve. They like that.
Oh my god. Oh, I nearly fell out of my chair with that one. That one floored me, or nearly floored me. Literally. I'm sorry. I don't even have it. I'm moving on.
They want it to stay that way because it suits them. Because of the stuff, telling people they're special and deserve all the nice shit that they have, that's going to be an easier sell 10 times out of 10 than like saying, hey, maybe...
Side note, why the does this dude look like a vampire?
You should have less stuff and other people should have more.
Leftism is when you don't have a lot of stuff. We're gonna take your stuff. You sound like a 65-year-old Fox News boomer's idea of what the left is.
Yes, thank you!
Agent? The right is saying to men, you will own a house. You will have beautiful children with your loving wife. You will have privacy. You will have free speech. You will own things, and you will be happy. And the left is like...
They like having all of the stuff they don't deserve.
But don't get me wrong, Republicans will not do shit. The Republican Party will not do shit. The establishment in general will not do shit to help any of this. But the right is, at least rhetorically, offering men something other than nothing or the eternal HR department. Every time this Discord comes up, there's people like, we need a leftist Andrew Tate. We need masculine role models on the left. But the fact is, it's hard for progressives to organically appeal to men because a large part of progressivism is oppressive hierarchies.
You want to know a great role model for masculinity? I'm not even going to bullshit right now. Uncle Iroh from Avatar: The Last Airbender. If you want a role model, okay, what would Jesus do? That. What would Iroh do? That's what you need to ask yourself before you do or say something next time. What would Iroh do? That man, that character, is peak masculinity in every sense. Absolutely. And if I had to use a real life example, I would honestly say a great example of masculinity as well is probably Arnold Schwarzenegger. Has nothing to do with his political beliefs. Obviously, he's Republican. I disagree with him on a lot of things. But ever since he stepped out of office and put political beliefs to the side, and he's just been 100%, you know, in the private life, private sector, every single thing I see from this man is just peak masculinity. Shout out to his book, by the way. Be Useful, I think is what it's called. You know, look that up. Genuine, not this scam, you know, Andrew Tate, Hustlers University, whatever the hell bullshit. Look up Arnold Schwarzenegger's book, How to Be Useful, I think it's 7 Tips for Life. Look that up. It's in audio form, and he narrates it himself. Shout out to him. I'm not paid to say this. Look that up if you want actually good advice for life and not one of these people trying to scam you.
And men are oppressors. Making progressivism look appealing to young men is an uphill battle from the start. And although it's funny to laugh at insane people on Twitter, as always, there have been a lot of left-wing content creators talking about men's issues. If you would have told me this would be a thing 9 years ago, I would not believe you, because anyone talking about men's issues back in the day was called an MRA or a pick-me. But lately I have seen a lot of
What do you mean back in the day? That's still happening
content.
today.
I'll put some links to some below. I don't agree with all the points they say, but I recommend watching. It's much better than...
They like having all of the stuff they don't deserve.
But the issue is a lot of this lefty pro-men content
Please stop showing
is
that
always
clip.
framed around how do we get them? As if men are just pawns and tools for your personal politics. How do we make the left more appealing to men? How do we stop lonely men from moving to Andrew Tate? Instead of just, how do we help men? And I think that's a really big issue. Both sides seem to treat men as political fodder. Disposable soldiers in the culture war and real war. Anyway, misandry is real. Oh good, finally! And while it doesn't systemically affect cis men, it most certainly affects trans men.
God, we were so close. So close.
Oh. Y'all talking about misandry doesn't harm men, and trans men are right there reading this shit, by the way. I see, now we only care about misandry because it affects trans men. Everyone stop! It's affecting a group I care about now. I love how the rhetoric just like evolved overnight from male tears to cis male tears, and I just have to ask, why aren't you including trans men in your misandry,
Nobody told me how lonely
Oh, I've seen this clip!
being a man is. We knew what depth felt like before we transitioned. We knew what it felt like to like have people want to hug us and to have people want to talk to us and to have a community. And then you transition and you're just a guy walking down the street that people cross the street so that they're not near you. And friendships are so much harder to build. What's hard is none of this invalidates how real and raw women and people who are in marginalized groups feel about cis white men. All of that's valid, but I also now
By the way, quick note, that's racist as I'm tired of seeing it. I'm tired of pretending it's not. If you're singling out white men, cis or otherwise, it's just as racist as if you were singling out black men. All right, it is. Quit it. Racism is bad, no matter who it's against. White, black, Asian, blue-skinned Asari alien should Mass Effect ever become reality. I don't care. Racism is bad. Shocker. Including against white men.
understand why the suicide rate is so much higher in men.
Welcome to being a man. Here's your complimentary isolation and yellow pillow. I love how...
Oh my god, I actually have a yellow pillow on my bed right now. Chad, am I cooked? Am I cooked?
Even when he's experiencing the issues of being a man, he's like, this doesn't invalidate people hating men. Come on, bro. Men struggling don't want to be lectured about the patriarchy. They don't want to be told it's all their fault. They don't want to be told they're part of the problem because, first of all, they're not. The average 20-year-old didn't build...
I mean, they kind of are. Two things can be true at the same time. Yes, they are... Men do have it raw right now, and there are multiple reasons for that, but you do have to take some personal accountability. For instance, let's say almost any political issue, actually. Let's keep it general, not to derail things. Whatever issue you think is an issue right now, well, men are the ones currently running things. Okay, they are. And the average man, okay, maybe he's not the one running things, but he does have a say in the vote. And so if most men are going right, and then like right now, when we have a right-wing president who's kind of wrecking the stock market. I'm sorry, it kind of just is what it is due to tariffs and whatnot. That's kind of on men. It's on women too. It's on everyone. They voted for him. They voted for it. But my point is that men also can improve themselves. They do. And to be fair, even the red pill talks about this. You can hit the gym. You can become better at your career. You can make yourself more valuable in other ways, such as being more emotionally available and other stuff like that. It is not a zero. It's not one or the other. It's not a binary. It is true that men have problems, and though it is not entirely their fault, there are still places where, as a man, you can improve. That is true. And so just because I don't want this video or my reaction to it to become an excuse for someone watching it right now to be a boohoo or man issue, where now you have every excuse to not try, or to not care, or to not whatever. It's both. Yes, you have it raw right now if you're a man in the modern era, generally speaking, unless you know you're really wealthy or super handsome or have some other supernatural talent. I don't mean supernatural, I mean like amazing talent. But you can still work on things. All right, these are not exclusive positions.
Build society. They go to work, come home, off to sissy hypno fetish porn and go to bed like everyone else. I've talked about this before, but a lot of men's value comes from the money they make, unfortunately. Men are natural providers, and if they have nobody to provide for, they get into findom or send random girls on the internet money. I'm just kidding, but the fact is...
Are you, though? Are you, though? Let's be honest. That's kind of true. It is. It's 100% true. If people don't have a purpose, if they don't have something to actually go for, then they're going to go into this weird stuff where they at least feel useful. Even if it's a woman kicking them in the balls and telling them they're only good for money and like fully reinforcing the negative idea that they're only good for money. It doesn't matter. As long as it makes them feel somewhat useful or somewhat filled with purpose, they'll do it. And that's the problem, is that the left is basically saying, hey, these things that men are typically seen as having purpose for are no longer needed. Just like that comment earlier in the post where it's like, hey, men are obsolete. And that's the problem. They shouldn't be obsolete. Even if you could make a logical case that they are in fact obsolete under the current standards, you need to find a new place for them. You need to find a new framework to make them operate in. You need to give them something to go on. I don't mean like give them money necessarily, but I mean like give them, like the saying goes, you know, teach a man to fish and he eats for a lifetime. You need to teach them how to fish, so to speak. Not literally, I'm pretty sure most men know how to do that. But you get what I'm saying.
A lot of men simply feel like they don't have a purpose anymore. Whether a job or a career that's fulfilling and pays well, or a woman or family to protect and take care of and provide for, men are lacking purpose. And a man will crawl through broken glass for a purpose. But you know who does make them feel like they have a purpose? No, not him.
I say that life as a man is exceptionally difficult. I say the most beautiful and the most terrifying thing about being a man is you're born without value. Society doesn't care about you.
The absolute audacity to act shocked that Andrew Tate is scooping these guys up after a decade of lol male tears is insane. Andrew Tate isn't the solution to men's problems.
No, absolutely not.
But he is talking to them. The fact is, you did not care about them for years. And even now you just want to recruit them, not help them. And that's why you will fail. And hey, maybe I'll be the Andrew Tate of the left. Men, listen up. Wash your penis. So I guess I'll leave you guys with a question.
I refuse. Okay? I am going for the stinkiest PP world record. And I will succeed. I will admit, Asmongold is worthy competition. But we shall see who comes out on top.
Why do you think male loneliness has been increasing? What are your solutions for this problem? And are you dealing with loneliness? And I will see you guys next time with a new video.
Okay, that video nearly broke me. Holy crap. I knew it was bad. I didn't know it was that bad, because I typically stay out of toxic spaces. But wow. That was something. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Linktree somewhere around here if you want to support me. Follow me on Discord, blah, 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 blah. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.